Meetings from the city of Prattville. Our first meetings this evening will be public hearings. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Councilor Strickland?
Here.
Councilor Jackson?
Here.
Councilor Brown? Here. Councilor Starnes?
Here.
Councilor Cable?
Here.
Councilor Stritchett?
Here.
Councilor Risk? Here.
Declaring a quorum present. Call the meeting to order. The first matter, the first public hearing is a resolution to authorize the mayor to have various weeded lots abated per Title 11, Chapter 67 of the Code of Alabama, 1975 as amended. Is anyone present who would like to speak in favor of this resolution? Is anyone present who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Hearing none, we declare the public hearing on this matter closed. We'll move on to the second public hearing, which is a resolution to grant a retail beer on or off premise and a retail tabled wine on or off premise license to New Vision Cinemas LLC, doing business as Promenade Cinema 12. Is anyone present who would like to speak in favor of this resolution? Yes, sir, if you would come forward, please, and give your name and address. Have a 5-minute time limit for your presentation, and that will start after you give your name and address to the clerk.
Yeah, good evening, I'm John Archer. My address is 2102 US Highway 98, Daphne, Alabama, 36526. Hey, I've spoken with you a few times. I'm an attorney for New Vision. My job is just help to do their ABC applications in Alabama, and so they've applied with the ABC for a beer and wine license, Promenade 12, and so we appreciate y'all considering our application. That's what we're here for. And they've applied for it for two reasons, mostly because the theater industry is going in that direction, and it's more of a necessity almost, so they have to compete with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all these things, and in addition to all the other theaters that are becoming licensed across the country and in the state. Recently, Amstar 14 was licensed in Alabaster just a couple weeks ago. The AMC Theater in Vestavia Hills just received approval for an ABC license and just waiting to complete their build out. Auburn has a theater that is licensed for beer and wine. Also, Gulf Shores has a theater that sells beer. So it's kind of a growing trend across the state for these theaters to stay relevant and to offer incentive for their patrons to return. And then the second reason they've done it is their lease terminates in 2022. So they're kind of up against a decision of whether or not to perform renovations. The theater's about 18 years old. Will be 20, or excuse me, older than that by then. But they've been there for 18 years. So they'd like to stay in the renovations, but they're hinging on whether or not they can continue with the trend and receive a license. But I know the main concern with the city will be the potential for any underage drinking, which is always a reasonable concern. So I've got Tony Sellers here. He's the regional manager for New Vision. He can speak in detail about that. He actually operates the Montgomery New Vision Theater. They're licensed, so he could give you all the ins and outs of how they police that and speak to that in detail. I've also got Miss Emma Adams here, who's the local manager for this theater, who can speak as well. So they can speak. That's probably what everybody's more concerned with than anything. So I would believe Mr. Sullivan, you want to come up and speak on that.
Hello, how's everybody doing? My name is Tony Sellers. Do you need me to get my address for you? Okay. It's 6625 Stable Gate Court, and that's Montgomery, Alabama, 36116. As stated, I'm the regional manager for Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, but I'm based out of the Montgomery location. And what we have here is just some basic tools that we use to identify alcohol sales. But basic tenet is this: we have certifications. We're Alabama certified. Have a certification here for the state of Alabama. The professional server certification for the on-premises responsible vendor serving program, as well as we have a national program that we participate in. So we have 2 programs that we train our people through, and that is just to identify anyone who might be underage or anybody whose license might be suspended or anything else. So we check for all those things as we go through the alcohol process. This little gadget here is used to verify the IDs and to just double check as a second process for us. But we do a visual inspection as well. But we card everybody. It's not so much about whether you're a licensed person in the state. We want to make sure your license is suspended or that there's no fake licenses or anything else. So we do our due diligence. We've been doing this since 2004, and knock on wood, we haven't had an incident yet. We have been checked by the ABC board on several different occasions. Those were blind checks, and we've had. And we heard about that after the fact. Of course, they weren't announced or anything. And they've also done random inspections of our paperwork and of our processes, just to make sure that we were doing everything that we were supposed to, and we passed with flying colors. And we take this very seriously. I mean, I have a rather large family, and they frequent the theater all the time, and as we know, a lot of those family members are kids, and they try the system, and we have passed with flying colors, and we take that to heart, that it is never the goal for us to breach the trust that was given to us for the privilege of serving in the city of Montgomery. And I know this is in the city of Montgomery, but this is the proud city of Prattville, and I know that this is something that, if we were allowed to, that would definitely help us move toward a renovation of the theater that is greatly needed.
Any questions?
Yes, sir. Are there, I know
Yes.
this is the ID situation and all
Yes.
that's prevalent. Are there any measures in place? And I hate talking hypotheticals, but I'll use a hypothetical. I'm a 21-year-old.
Yes.
I'm wearing my 19-year-old date.
Mm-hmm.
We're sharing popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. We're watching a movie. What's to prevent her from grabbing my beer and drinking my beer?
Perfect point. So what we have here is we do a wristband system. So part of that is there's a wristband that is, once you are identified as an alcohol server or somebody that has passed through our alcohol pre-check, then we put a wristband on your wrist. And these are almost neon. They almost glow in the dark. They're easy to identify and see that you are established to be able to sell, as well as there's a limit that is on here. Now, this one is a 3-drink limit because all we do is beer and wine. So we usually do a 3-drink limit on that. And we have 2 different policies. We have one as a 2-drink limit and one as a 3. And that is something that we work with each of the municipalities for their comfort level on what we can serve. But 2 or 3-drink limit. But with that, there's a wristband that goes on your wrist. We mark it for each time that you come up, and every time you come up, you must show your ID. Now, inside that theater, I can see that wristband in the dark. Along with that, we have clear containers that we serve in. So I can clearly see this is for wine, this is how much wine you get. We're not trying to get anybody intoxicated, but it's just so you get enough, you get what you pay for. And this is the beer, 16 ounces and 7 ounces. So we can see what's in the container. So when I come in, we do auditorium checks religiously. We do them every 15 to 20 minutes in the theater, looking for that wristband and looking for that alcohol cup. And if we discover anybody that has that cup that doesn't have that wristband, then they're immediately removed.
So, and also, just for a certain rating movie, so how about a G movie or a kids movie, if there's alcohol still can be sold to a parent?
If to anybody who purchases.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir. I got a couple for you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Sellers,
Yes.
if you'll give me just a moment.
Sure.
First is, how is our cinema doing in Prattville as far as, business itself? I mean, obviously things are changing with Amazon, Netflix, like you said.
Sure.
However, compared to other New Vision cinemas and similar sized towns, I mean, we really don't compete with anybody within our, media area. We have Montgomery on the east side over there, but
Right.
every time I go by the movie theater, it seems like it's fairly crowded and all. So what is bringing? I mean, how much more are you looking to gain by offering alcohol at this particular location?
That's a very good question. The main thing for the alcohol is I don't think it'll necessarily spark a boom for us in business, but it will add a revenue stream for us to allow us to do some much needed growth and changes at that location. As it being 18 years old, and it only has one set of restrooms, and the theaters, we want to upgrade the seats, we want to upgrade the amenities that we are able to offer there, and also bring it up to speed with what a theater like Montgomery. I mean, both the theaters in Montgomery, one was built in 2000, December 15th of 2000, which is the AMC, which I opened, by the way, and the Chantilly location, which I happen to open too. I've opened too many theaters. So, I mean, those theaters are doing okay, but here's Prattville, its own community, and it's tight-knit. Everybody I talk to in Prattville wants to keep their business in Prattville. They don't want to have to go to Montgomery to get anything. And in this case, this is something that Montgomery offers that Prattville doesn't. So I'm hoping that with this is one less reason that people have to leave Prattville.
What about the cost for the alcohol? I mean, everything else there is high. I'm assuming. No offense, but I'm assuming it'd be very high.
I would imagine it would be, and don't quote me on this, because we have to look at our food costs. We got to make sure we're making a little bit of money. But I would imagine the beer would probably be somewhere in the $5 range, $5 to $6 range, and the wine would probably be in the same thing. I mean, I definitely don't imagine paying $10 for a beer in Prattville.
Right. Last question or last comment for me personally is, I grew up here in this town, and I up to this point have voted yes for every single liquor license been applied for every business. However, I do have concerns with this because I look at New Vision Cinema as a family,
Sure.
A family place, whether it's young kids, whole family, but there are adults too, so I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I guess I'm looking at New Vision's thought process on this, how do you answer the questions when people say, well, what about my family, my kids, and I don't want them around this, and so forth. I mean, what's your thought? What's your standard answer? Personally, I know you just said you had kids and a big family, but
I have grandkids.
Right, same here.
Yes, sir. That same thing came up in Montgomery when we first presented. And I can only use that as a reference point, because I sat in front of or stood in front of the council there and answered the same way. Is that it is a family vestige, and it's one of the last that we have. And although even Chuck E. Cheese is just like us, they're serving alcohol in Montgomery. It's just one of those things that we have to grow as the industry grows. And it's one of those things that we want to stay relevant in this day and age, and we need to do that and be competitive with what's going on, even in the city as close as Montgomery. So we try to honor and be respectful of what everybody wants. We don't flaunt it. It's not something right there in your face as soon as you walk in the door. There's not a big neon sign. There's not banners. It's just off to the side. There's a display that says if you want it, you can get it. There's a menu board that you can go to and you can get it. And it's something that, as an adult, if you want to partake of that, as if you were in a ball game or any other venue, you could. And you can still take your kids to a ball game and still sit there and enjoy the same thing like a theater. It's just one of those things that you do at a ball game, you do at, at Chuck E. Cheese. You can do if you want to, but it's not something that we're flaunting or putting in everybody's face. But it is a revenue stream that is essential for us as we go forward. Because although popcorn and drink do make up a great portion of what we do, there's a margin of profit on alcohol that we're looking at that would help us do a lot more at Promenade. And we desperately need it. I can tell you we're holding the building together right now as best we can. The theater industry is doing better this year than it did last year, but every year it's kind of up and down. And so if we don't do something on the inside to kind of keep everybody coming, we'll lose them to Netflix, Hulu, and any other streaming media that we have.
And possibly closing down or relocating or something.
And that's what we don't want to do, because we've got people that depend on that for jobs and for entertainment and everything else, and that's what we don't want to see.
Any other questions?
Yes, yes, sir, I just have a concern.
Okay.
I think you're gonna cut your own throat, because I know a lot of people drop their kids off at the movie theater,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of business.
Mhm.
And that's my concern is, I'm not gonna drop my kids off if there's gonna be, alcohol being sold at the movie theater. Just that threat of accessibility.
Sure.
So that's my concern.
And that's, we honor that and I respect that. And we had the same thing in Montgomery. There were people that were concerned that we were serving alcohol. Once again, we take every precaution that we possibly can, and we look and we monitor and we maintain everything that we do at the theaters to make sure that we provide everybody with a proper sense of entertainment and safety as they go in. And I understand, there were some that were apprehensive about that, about dropping their kids off. And those were put to bed really quickly as they came in and realized it was just another amenity that we offered. There just happened to be a little bit more than an icy or hamburger, which we just started recently. It's a little bit something more along those lines, but it is something that, like I said, we have been doing successfully in other areas, and we just want to add that to Prattville.
Any other questions or comments?
Got a question for Chief Johnson. Is that permissible from here?
Yes.
Chief, you would answer a question or two for me real quick.
Yes, sir.
Is the public safety, what have you looked at in this particular? Are we going to have to increase drive-bys or have somebody there more often, or is that something that's been looked at, or a big concern? I just want to get your thoughts.
According to our policies, officers will not be allowed to work with alcohol being served during part-time duty or full-time duty. So that's going to be a drawback. They're going to have to find security other than the police department to work on security when alcohol is being served.
What about on-duty policemen that drive by? I mean,
If they drive by and see something being committed, then they just like any other thing. But as far as us working part-time as security at the movie theaters, that would be off the books because alcohol is being served. That's against our policies.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments? Is anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this resolution? Is anyone present that would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Hearing none, I declare the public hearing on this matter closed. At this point, we will move into our regular council meeting agenda. This time, you're invited to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and our remain standing for our invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you join me in prayer? Father, in the midst of our personal agendas, we pause to thank you for the generous gift of this day and for your gifts of life, health, strength, and for the safety of our community. Our heartfelt sympathy is extended to friends and families of our community that have lost loved ones in recent days. We're mindful of all that are daily wrestling with the challenging issues of life. We ask for your hand of comfort and your gift of peace to be with all affected. We pray for all citizens that are providing service to their fellow man, whether local or abroad, whether military, civilian, or public service. We pray for their efforts to be successful and at the end of their duty for their safe return to their family. We pray for the health and healing of nations in conflict, our country, our state, our great city, and their respective leadership, and for all of those that have an influence on history. Tonight, as we conduct the business of our city, We pray our thoughts and actions are pleasing to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Strickland?
Here.
Counselor Jackson?
Here.
Counselor Brown? Here. Counselor Starnes?
Here.
Counselor Cable?
Here.
Counselor Stritchick?
Here.
Counselor Wright? Here.
Declaring a quorum present, call the meeting to order. The character trait of the month is loyalty, demonstrating commitment to others. This time, the chair will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the public hearing and city council meeting held July 3rd, 2018.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of adopting the minutes, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. The minutes have been approved. This time, we will entertain comments from persons present regarding tonight's agenda. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on any item on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Mayor, you have a report.
Yes, sir. In light of the point of privilege,
Yes, sir.
yes, Joel Duke.
To come forward and bring Austin Branch with him as well, and I'll turn the microphone over to Mr. Duke.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I'd like to take a few minutes this evening, very brief few minutes, to introduce Austin Brass. Austin is a new senior planner in the planning department. He is, this is second Tuesday, so he did come back Monday, so we're very glad. If you just take a few minutes to introduce yourself to him and get to know him, we're very fortunate to have him. Austin comes to us from his most recent position in Indiana, but he is a local guy, having gone to school in Alabama and grown up in Tennessee. Correct? Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, sir. Just want to thank Mr. Duke and the council for this opportunity. I grew up in southern Middle Tennessee, just north of Florence, Alabama. I studied geography at the University of North Alabama and also studied urban planning at Alabama A&M University in Huntsville. Being in Prattville in this position is very rewarding for me because Prattville is the type of community that, from my week that I spent here, it knows its identity. It has that classic southern character, but it has a progressive feel. There's lots of growth, new subdivisions, things that someone from a planning background really appreciates. And I'm really honored to be able to work with Mr. Duke and get to sink all of his knowledge, because he seems to know every little thing about Prattville, which is really rewarding for me to gain a lot of his experience in my position. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome to Prattville.
Thank you.
Before you step off, though, grab you back over here. It's sort of been customary with, especially with the police and the fire department, is new people come up or go up to the ranks. You have a badge to put on if you're in the police department. Well, I have no badge for you, but I do have a little pill pin. So if you'll take it, and it's one of our older styles, but it's also a very popular style. So glad you're here. Look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, thank you for the point of privilege there. You know, I hope everybody was able to find time to exercise their voting rights. I know I did, and it's a very important time. You know, another very important time was just recently had our Independence Day celebration, and I want to thank everybody who had everything to do with that, with our community. It was a great event. People really enjoyed it, and I'm still hearing so many accolades about it. And I tell you one thing I'm very proud about our community is we are very patriotic, and it shows during that time of the year as well. You know, I hope everybody's had a great week like I have. We have received some good news this week. AlDOT has approved our contract for the industrial access road moving forward on the James Hardy project. You'll have a resolution brought to you from the floor this evening in reference to this project. Not sure if you've seen the W.S. Newell YouTube video of the James Hardy project. If you haven't, please find time. It's a very interesting and educational video, and it is a few weeks old. They are working on another one, so what you see there, if you have to pull it up, is things are changing there in that South Industrial Park. And it's hard to believe it, that school is going to be beginning in just 3 weeks. This weekend is back to school tax-free weekend. Begins on Friday at 12:01 a.m. and ends on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Hope this will provide a great opportunity for the citizens to get out and take advantage of this for their families. And talking about the school, and on another note, I attended a single officer active shooting entry training drill at Prattville High School this morning. It was put on by our Prattville Police Department, and I tell you, it was very educational. It just makes me proud to know that we have such a great safety team out there. They impressed me, and I think they can impress themselves too. So things are looking good in that area. Friday is Founders Day. We hope you will join us along with the Ottawa County Heritage Association at 9 a.m. for the Founders Day celebration at the Daniel Pratt Cemetery. Following ceremony, a ginning, not the kind of gin you might find at some establishments, but a ginning demonstration will take place behind the museum. This should be a great event to celebrate the life of Daniel Pratt. The Creekwater Concert Series has been a success this year. I want to thank you for funding this event, counselors, and I hope to see you next Tuesday for OTI's performance. Prattville's Way Off Broadway Theater begin the production of The Secret Garden on July the 26th. Make plans to attend this production as they have worked diligently to prepare for this feature. Also, the Wake Up and Smell the Coffee event will be held August 5th at the Dawson Center. For more information, please check our city website on that one. Again, I'd like to say pardon our progress here in City Hall. Our finance department has relocated where the old HR department is. The executive branch is somewhere in the middle over there. I really hope we'll have our doors truly open back up to the general public in the next day or so. But, Mr. President, that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the mayor? Thank you. This time we will hear council special committee reports. Councilor Jackson?
No, sir.
Councilor Brown?
No, sir.
Councilor Starnes?
No, sir.
Councilor Cables?
Yes, sir. You give me just a moment here. We held a sanitation committee meeting yesterday at 3 p.m. at the Public Works Building. Myself, of course, and Councilor Strickland and Councilor Brown, along with Mr. Gandy, Tracy, Kathy Dickerson, and Ms. Bird, I believe. Ms. Bird was there? Yes, and the mayor. Just want to have a quick overview of how things in general were going with the sanitation department. Mr. Gandy provided a very nice employee comparison and cost comparison before and after the cans. And I will say that when I first got on this committee and become a counselor, he was on a pretty big soapbox saying, you know, what he was going to do with this and what he was going to do with that, and he actually delivered. So it very efficient. I was really impressed with the efficiencies you were able to show prior to rolling out all the cans. Thank you very much for that. Another thing of interest that I'll pass on was Mr. Gandy presented us with a cost and some other issues with maybe getting into the commercial dumpster business. And I really think this is a great idea. I think Kathy sent out PDF this afternoon to all of you counselors and invite you. We'll be talking about this in the future for 2018-19 budget. I think it's a wonderful thing that we need to look at for several reasons. And lastly, one thing I want to talk about that was brought up and it really caught my eye was the recycling. We have a chance to, I don't want to call it get into the recycling business, but Dale brought up a good point, but we're seeing tons and tons of cardboard boxes and Amazon, this, that, and the other, that we're just picking up and throwing it into a dump truck where we can utilize this and actually bring it back and recycle it and take advantage of that. I think it's a wonderful idea. More to come on that. Don't have all the things worked out, but we sure do waste a lot. And I'm a big proponent of recycling here in our community. That's all I got, sir.
Thank you very much. Councilor Stritchett?
No, sir.
Councilor Boone?
No, sir.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear a report from Mr. Oakley on our finances.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. Everyone should have a council packet in front of them. First page in your packet is the general fund revenue report that shows that we have received $28,532,477 for the fiscal year to date. And this figure is up 3.32% when compared to the same period in the prior year. Next page is the tax breakdown comparison, and on the tax side of things, we're up 5.8% for the month when compared to the previous June. Next three pages show the general fund expenses broken down by department, and we are 3/4 of the way through the fiscal year and have spent 69.31% of our budgeted expenditures in the general fund. Next page is the wastewater enterprise fund income statement. The wastewater fund reported a net loss from operations of $70,583 for the month of June. The primary reason for this was a $94,000 payment for a dump truck. We also had a $109,000 payment for a mini excavator. Both of those expenses fell in June. Overall operating expenses continue to come in with the budget. Next page in your packet is the Sanitation Enterprise Fund income statement, and the Sanitation Fund reported a net loss of $36,336 for June. This was due primarily to we doubled up on debt payments during the months. We had 2 instead of 1. Expenses overall are holding in line with the budget through the first 3 quarters of the year. Next page is the Judicial Special Revenue Fund income statement. The Judicial Fund reported a net income of $15,743 for June. Expenses remain slightly over budget year to date for this fund as well. Next 3 statements in your packet are all presented quarterly. They comprise the Capital Projects Fund, Gas Tax Fund, and Group Health Fund income statements. The first page you see is the Capital Projects Fund income statement, and it's shown with April, May, and June numbers. As far as revenue goes, lodging fees continue to come in over budget, which is a good sign. Main activity for this fund during this quarter relates primarily to the South Industrial Access Project, the Gurney Building demo, and the Pratt Street and Maple Street sidewalk projects. Next page is the Gas Tax Special Revenue Fund income statement. The gas tax revenue is coming in around 10% over budget for this point in the year, which is positive. Budgeted paving projects in this fund have not begun to this point in the year yet. Next page is the Group Health Fund income statement. So far, the Group Health Fund has performed well and has an accumulated net income to date of $263,932 for the fiscal year. There have been no extra general fund supplements needed to this point in the year. Next page is the bank balances report. The total of all bank balances citywide was $26,518,075 at the end of June. The last page in your packets is citywide accounts payable and debt balances report. The total outstanding AP and debt balance at the end of June was $61,610,421. And this statement does reflect the change from $17 million to $16.8 million for the wastewater abatement line.
Any questions of Mr. Oakley?
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we'll move towards the consent agenda. We have an opportunity to create a consent agenda and place 2 items on it this evening. Resolution number 1, to authorize the mayor to have various weeded lots abated per Title 11, Chapter 67 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended. And resolution number 2, to declare various weeded lots to be a public nuisance, order their abatement, set a public hearing for Title 11, Chapter 67 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended. Chair will entertain a motion to place these two items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. At this time, Chair will call for a motion to, or we will vote to create a consent agenda. All those in favor of creating the consent agenda, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. We now have a consent agenda that is properly before us. Chair will entertain a motion for the adoption of the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion on either of the items on our consent agenda? Hearing none, we will vote. All those in favor of adopting the consent agenda signify by raising your right hand. Opposed by a like sign, the consent agenda is adopted. This time we will move into our regular agenda item. Resolution number 1, to grant a retail beer on or off premise and a retail table wine on or off premise license to New Vision Cinemas LLC, doing business as Promenade Cinema 12. Councilor Starnes, will you introduce this resolution?
Yes. Whereas New Vision Cinemas LLC, doing business as Promenade Cinema 12, has applied for retail beer and retail table wine license for a business located at 2399 Cottsville Road, Prattville, Alabama 36066, which is a movie theater. And whereas the public hearing was set by Resolution Book 2018, page 79, until July 17, 2018 at 6 p.m. And at such time and place, all persons who desired an opportunity to be heard in favor of or in opposition to such resolution. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby approves the issuance of retail beer and retail table wine license for the business located at 2399 Cottsville Road, Prattville, Alabama 36066 to New Vision Cinemas LLC, doing business as Promenade Cinema 12. So, Mr. President.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion concerning this resolution?
Yes, sir. I'd like to say a few words, not that I haven't spoken enough already. In almost 2 years I've been here, this particular item on the agenda has bothered me more than anything. I've really put a lot of thought into this, and you know, my convictions tell me one thing. And Mr. Sellers, thank you very much for coming up here and presenting and answering the questions from the council here. My convictions are telling me one thing, but also one thing I was told when I took this position was to look at the needs of Prattville, do what's best for the city of Prattville as well. And I almost feel like a hypocrite if I had voted yes for every single liquor license throughout up to this point and voted no, particularly on this one. I do look at the cinema as a family place, but we also look at your Hooters, your other places where children are allowed in here. So there are some little small differences, like you brought up, Councilor Starnes. But I'm really having a tough time with this, and I will tell you off the bat, I will vote for this one here tonight, based on what we have done in the past and what we'll do in the future, or what I will do. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, sir. I would like to say that nothing against the cinema. I love going to the movie theater, but I'm against it because, to me, presenting a bar atmosphere, I know it's not as out there in the public as a bar, but when our kids are dropped off at the movie theater, and that's one place that the kids do have that's not a threat. We have our police officers there, and when the chief said that threw it for me.
Any other comments? This time, since there's no further discussion, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of adopting this resolution signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. Motion fails. Resolution number 2, to amend the FY 2018 budget and to release funds for the purchase and installation of one 2-ton ductless split system for the public safety building from Johnson Controls Incorporated for Information Technology Department at a cost not to exceed $8,513. Councilor Stritchett, will you introduce this resolution?
Yes, sir. Whereas a need for one 2-ton ductless split system for the Information Technology Department, whereas Johnson Controls Incorporated has expertise to provide and install said system in the public safety building at a cost not to exceed $8,513. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that fiscal budget 2018 is amended as follows. Decrease information technology internet service provider $8,513. Increase information technology capital outlay $8,513. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that funds in an amount not to exceed $8,513 for said system are hereby authorized and approved to be paid by paid to Johnson Controls Incorporated, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from fiscal budget line 2018 item Information Technology Capital Outlay. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion concerning this resolution? All those in favor of its adoption signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. This resolution is adopted. Resolution number 3, to amend the FY 2018 budget and to authorize the mayor to enter into a memorandum agreement for a classification and compensation study with Condrey and Associates Incorporated for the Human Resources Department at a cost not to exceed $52,500. Councilor Boone, will you introduce this resolution?
Yes, sir. Whereas the Human Resources Department has identified the need for an updated classification and compensation study for the City of Prattville employees, and whereas Condrey and Associates has the expertise to complete said study at a cost not to exceed $52,500, and whereas said fee shall include the classification and compensation study plus 1 year of follow-up technical assistance. And whereas Section 411651A3 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended allows contracts to secure services with consultants possessing a high degree of professional skill to be let without competitive bidding. Therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the fiscal year budget is amended as follows. Decrease police auto maintenance $17,500. Decrease fire building maintenance $10,000. Decrease fire operating administration $7,500. Decrease public works education $7,500. Decrease public works operating supplies $5,000. Decrease wastewater enterprise fund education $2,500. Decrease sanitation enterprise fund education $2,500, and increase human resources pay study and job evaluation $52,500. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby authorizes the mayor to enter into said agreement with Condrey and Associates Incorporated for said study at a cost not to exceed $52,500, and said funds are approved and appropriated from fiscal year human resources pay study job evaluation. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville does hereby authorize and empower the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to have this work performed for and on behalf of the City of Prattville. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion concerning this resolution? All those in favor of its adoption signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. This resolution is adopted. Resolution number 4, to authorize the release of funds to purchase one vehicle from state contract T-191 for the police department at a total cost not to exceed $30,888 to be paid with drug proceeds. Councilor Starnes, will you introduce this resolution?
Yes, sir. Whereas there's a need for one vehicle for the City of Prattville Police Department, and whereas said vehicle is available through state contract T-191 at a cost not to exceed $30,888, and whereas said vehicles shall be paid with drug proceeds. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that funds in amount not to exceed $30,888 for said vehicle are hereby authorized and approved, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from drug proceeds account 6701-11-605. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion concerning this resolution? All those in favor of its adoption signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. This resolution is adopted. Resolution number 5, to release funds for the purchase of one Toro 75968 31 horsepower Pulaski 72-inch mower for Prattville Outdoors for the Urban Management Division at a cost not to exceed $11,859. Councilor Boone, will you introduce this resolution?
Yes, sir. Whereas there is a need for one Toro 75968 31 horsepower Kawasaki 72-inch mower in the Public Works Urban Management Division. And whereas said mower is available from Prattville Outdoors at a cost not to exceed $11,859. And whereas said mower is a budgeted expense for the Public Works Urban Management Division, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that funds in an amount not to exceed $11,859 are hereby authorized and approved to be paid to Prattville Outdoors, and said funds are approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2018 budget, line item urban management / capital outlay. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of adopting this resolution signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. This resolution is adopted. This concludes our regular scheduled agenda for this evening. However, we have 2 resolutions from the floor. At this time, Councilor Brown. The first resolution is to award bid number 018-008 to W.S. Newell & Sons Incorporated for the construction of an industrial access road for the state of Alabama, funded project IAR number 001-000-010 at a cost of $1,347,230. Net cost to the city not to exceed $482,662. Councilor Brown, will you introduce this resolution?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville has a need to construct an industrial access road for State of Alabama funded project IAR 001-000-010 for the Prattville South Autauga Industrial Park. And whereas the City of Prattville Engineering Department has plans and specifications drafted for said project. And whereas one sealed bid was received, open, and read on June 5th, 2018 at 2 p.m., and W.S. Newell & Sons Incorporated was the lowest responsible bidder with a cost of $1,347,230. And whereas said project is a budgeted expense for the capital project fund. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that bid number 018-008 for State of Alabama funded project IAR 001-000-010 is hereby awarded to W.S. Newell & Sons Incorporated in the amount of $1,347,230, net cost to the city not to exceed $482,662. And said funds are approved and appropriated from the fiscal year 2018 budget line item capital projects fund South Industrial Access Project. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. In order to move this forward this evening, we will require suspension of the rules. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
We have a motion to suspend the rules. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor of suspending the rules, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. The rules are properly suspended. We are now back to the resolution that is before us. Is there any discussion concerning the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor of its adoption signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. The resolution is adopted. Our second resolution from the floor this evening is to authorize for the mayor to enter into an agreement with Sane & Associates Incorporated for construction, engineering, and inspection services for the construction of an industrial access road for the state of Alabama, funded project IAR number 001-000-010 at a cost not to exceed $195,606. Net cost to the city not to exceed $39,122. Councilor Cables, will you introduce this resolution, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the city of Prattville has a need for construction, engineering, and inspection services for construction of an industrial access road for State of Alabama funded project IAR number 001-000-010 located in the Prattville South Latauga Industrial Park. And whereas said engineering, construction, and inspection services are available from Sanitation Associates Incorporated at a cost not to exceed $195,606. Net cost to the city not to exceed $39,122. And whereas subsection 41-16-51A3, Code of Alabama 1975 as amended, allows contractors to secure services with engineers possessing a high degree of professional skill to be let without competitive bidding. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the mayor is authorized to enter into an agreement with Sanitation Associates Incorporated for said engineering services and to sign any and all documents necessary to execute said agreement. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that funds in an amount not to exceed $195,606, net cost to the city not to exceed $39,122, are hereby authorized and approved to be paid to Sanitation Associates Incorporated for said engineering services, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2018 Budget Capital Projects Fund / South Industrial Access Project. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. In order to move this resolution forward this evening, will require a suspension of the rules. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
We have a motion to suspend. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. It's unanimous. The resolution is now properly before us. Is there any discussion concerning this resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor of its adoption signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by like sign. This resolution is adopted. This concludes our agenda as well as items from the floor this evening. Council will entertain comments from persons present. Yes, ma'am.
John Finnegan, 211 Deer Trace. I wasn't going to speak this meeting, but with these two resolutions that just came up from the floor, I find it interesting that they were brought from the floor, considering all the time that this is being discussed and bid on and everything like that. I don't know why they weren't on the agenda, but now members of the citizenship and residents won't know about this until the meetings, the minutes are approved. And I just think something like you've just approved for the city $521,000 worth of expenditures, and the citizens have no idea about this unless it's covered in the paper or something like that. And I really don't understand why this wasn't on the agenda, but I sincerely hope in the future that something of this importance isn't brought up from the floor, and that residents and citizens will be notified through the agenda, etc., that this is going to be happening. But no, I was just, when I heard about two resolutions, I was just taken aback. So please, think of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is anyone else like to address the council? Closing comments, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. I'd like to say welcome to our economic development partners from the Chamber of Commerce who are out in the audience as well. And I'd like to thank our citizens because everything we do is for them in some shape, form, or fashion. I'd also like to say thank you to all the employees and department heads, because the report that Councilman Cables gave was inspiring, something how much that department has come along so long
It's come so far in so little time, really, and at one point in time, I actually did ask council to give me the 3 T's, the time, the tools, and the talents for them to perform, and you guys did, and they have performed. So thank you, council, as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Jackson? No, sir. Councilor Brown?
No, sir.
Councilor Starnes?
Yes, sir, I just got one thing. Well, a couple of things. I want to say 4th of July was a great event. Thanks, Kelly. I know judicial department doesn't get much shout out, but I was doubtful about an enterprise fund working, and we're finally in the black, and hey, that's great. So shout out to the municipal courts. Thank you. Thanks, Charlotte.
Thank you. Councilor Cables?
No, sir.
Councilor Stritchett?
No, sir.
Councilor Boone?
Yes, sir, just real quickly, we're excited that Matt Gray Park is up, functional, and being played at. I have seen some videos and some posts, and I know that, I understand that the mayor is quite a base coach, so I understand that we are playing a city team, building a team, as well as lots of other groups that are able to participate in our beautiful new park. So go by and see Matt Gray Park, it is lovely. Also, our pavilion is finished, and I am getting comments from everybody I meet about the open pavilion, the safety issues of being able to see through the pavilion so that we know what's going on in there in the dark, that our police officers can see it from either side, from the street. And it's just a much safer place, but it's also a beautiful place. So we're excited in Parks and Rec to have 2 big projects complete, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I'd like to express continued appreciation to all city employees for their daily efforts in making Prattville a great community. This time, the chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All those in favor of the resolution, the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All those by like sign, we are adjourned.